Hey everybody, Kim K here with GeForce TV for OnTrack Weekly. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We've got a lot to go over. We've got some champions from 2025 that are going to join us. As you see right above my head right near, Connor James is going to join us from the Ontario Sportsman Series, winning his third championship on Friday night in a dominating fashion, all for his late father, Rob James. We'll talk to him about his more than just the championship. He set some records this year in the Ontario Sportsman Series. So we'll talk with Connor about that. We'll bring on Quesa Zimick. She's out of Full Throttle Motor Speedway. 10 feature wins this year in the mini truck division and the series championship. She's been vying for that for quite a while. Mason Culver, back-to-back Thunder Truck championships at Full Throttle Motor Speedway as well. He is also going to join us talking about his new venture in the super stock. We'll talk about those plans and what's going to happen with the trucks. Carter Nickel, he comes off of winning the 9 horsepower sprint championship at Grand Bend Speedway. He's also had a bit of change of plans this year, starting off at the bone stock level with Delaware Speedway before focusing in on this championship in the 9 horsepower sprints. We'll talk about that division and Grand Bend as a whole. They're doing some really, really good things out at that track. And of course, we'll bring on the late model champion from Delaware Speedway, Jake Sheridan. And of course, I want to get into a lot of stuff that happened over this weekend. I want to get to our guests first because they have started to show up, and I want to make sure that we stay on time here. So we'll talk about some of the shenanigans and some of the stuff that really should be talked about, I think. One of the things that this show is for is talking it out. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that did happen this weekend on the way that people reacted. I fully expect that there's going to be a lot of people that are back and forth on what they feel. But one thing that we can say from this past 3 day weekend at the Last Dance was we had history being made once again by the Two Speed Motorsports crew, and the Ontario Sportsman Series is now officially 3-time champion in the Ontario Sportsman Series. Connor James joins me. Connor, you have set a lot of records this year and putting yourself now into second place with the most championships, just behind Sean McGlynn. You've got one more to tie Sean McGlynn. So I'm just going to throw that out there in case potentially there might be plans in the future. But you came into this year obviously with a lot on your plate. Corey McAllister put you in this car. Initially, it was going to be a 71 car, and you guys redid it, made it up in memory of your dad, and proved to be the magic step because you guys were unstoppable the whole season. It must have been a very rewarding feeling, and we saw the relief at the end of the season when you got out there on the car. But for the season that it was, man, I just want to know what you're feeling a couple days later.
I mean everything, man. I still think, sometimes that hasn't set in, and I think, I just brought the trophy down to my room for the first time. I left it sitting upstairs, and we got Dad sitting upstairs and show him the trophy. I like to do that, and everything, man. You feel sadness, you feel happy, you feel everything, right? But going into Friday, I found I was more nervous to race my last race than I was my very first one, back in May at Delaware.
Yeah.
But I said in another interview that I was gonna be damned if we didn't win that last one at Sunset, with it being, championship and getting all-time wins, and home track, and with Sunset closing it, it was such a crazy Friday, last day of racing. But I was pretty honored and grateful for this whole season.
It was really something that did come together really late because we weren't sure what the plans were going to be. Wasn't going to happen initially. Then, it really wasn't going to happen after everything happened. And obviously, we would be remiss without mentioning Rob here on the show. Obviously, we miss him and we love him. And, we know that that was his work behind that car this year because clearly, Corey McAllister was somebody that you got to actually race against in 2023 when you were driving for a family team. And I remember when we interviewed you um, in that season, and you had talked about how clean of a racer Corey was and how much you enjoyed racing with him. As an owner now, How has Corey been as an owner? Because it's a little different for you because you've always had that family operation. Now you've been driving for Corey and Two Speed, and they've pretty much been the dominant team in this division for the last couple of years. But I can imagine that that bond between you two has gotten even stronger.
100%, Cam, and just kind of going back to, whether it was going to happen or not. Not many people really knew that, before Dad had passed at Christmas, we kind of already had this deal almost set in place. And when we got back from vacation, we were going to go up to the shop and kind of finalize everything. And obviously with Dad passing, Corey and Dan and Scotty. Fuzzy, they were the first people that Mom and I went to see after Dad passed. Just I told Corey straight up. I said, buddy, I ain't looking for a sympathy ride, but I had lots of talks to Mom, and Dad be kicking me in the ass if I didn't get back in a race car. But with Corey and everybody at the shop, it's not even a car owner role. So I don't mean to get emotional. It's
No,
more
you're
of a
allowed to.
yeah, yeah, it's more of a family thing for me now. It's
Yeah.
I've told Corey, I was working on the car about a month and a half ago, and Corey said to me, he goes, what do you want to do next year? And I told him flat out that, I'll be racing for two speed or else I won't be doing anything at all. It was pretty plain and simple at that. So I'm forever grateful for everybody, Dan, Scotty, Fuzzy, Corey, everybody who touched the car this year, all my own guys. I truthfully couldn't have done it without them. It's such a cliche saying, really, but it's all them that kept pushing me, and I'm forever grateful.
You've done it, and I think middle of the season, I wasn't really doing anything with OSS, and but started to look at the statistics, and then it brought me kind of back in because you went from being kind of another name in this series to now you have now become the leader all time in wins. It might just be one over Steve Robley right now, but that's enough. And it came down to this final race, and you got that. And it seems almost like when they say it's just storybook kind of
Yeah.
season, and it really was. And a very good memorial piece to remember kind of your dad and for those that don't know, Rob did a lot for us on stickers and scuffs without us even knowing.
Yeah.
That's the type of man he was, and Corey talked about it, and he talked about this whole deal coming together. And from an outside perspective, we were so proud to be seeing this come together, and I know it definitely probably is a lot of relief. But you just said that, and I'm not trying to push you in any direction here, but you did just say you would only race for Two Speed Motorsports. So, are there potentially plans to do something in the future? Are you going to take some time? I know when we had talked during your year off from OSS that you really loved the coaching aspect of
Yeah.
motorsports. You said that that was one of the most fun experiences that you've ever had. I believe you were helping Jake Spencer
Yeah.
Wald at the time. So, is that something that's potentially still on? Like, what do you know right now, or are you just going to take some time and you figure that out when it comes?
Yeah, truthfully, I don't know, Cam. Unfortunately, it all comes down to the dollars and cents of
Yeah,
things, and unfortunately, that's all it is. Because if I could race every day of the year, I think we all would.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but like I said, it's whether it's easy for me. I'm going to do something with Corey, or I wouldn't do something at all because, like I said, now it's not even a car owner point of thing or nothing like that. It's
yeah,
strictly become, family. Like those guys have been there through me for everything this year. And whether I do something next year, again, it's all up in the air. And I truthfully hope I do because
yeah,
I love racing. I really do. And I've thought about it, the mental side of things of, maybe take some time off. But I think, I personally, I think I would go a bit stir crazy. And B, for the family side of things, I find it's been quite a gel for me and my family
yeah,
to, keep doing this. And, all my friends are from the racetrack, and I love being at the racetrack. So everything really is still up in the air. We're so fresh off of everything, but I sure as heck hope I can get back in a race car.
I'm hoping as well. I think that OSS, we know you have great relationships with Brad Robinson, with Corey McAllister. You've got Austin Seaburn that's coming in now as a two-speed teammate, and then I definitely have to throw out Paul Jr.
Yeah.
You mentioned Paul in your post race, and his first race with Trevco earlier this year. You raced for Trevco as well, got them a
Yep.
win. I believe in that car actually. It might have been.
Yeah, it
I
was.
think I
Yep.
think it was that car. Yeah,
Yep.
you got the win a couple of years ago, which was your reintroduction to OSS. And funny enough, that car ends up with Paul Jr. and then he goes out and gets himself a top five in that race. You guys as a family, I mean, that whole experience, Chelsea was there, Paul being there, your mom there, it was a perfect way to end the season. And I know I want to give you the opportunity to thank, you mentioned the team members, but thank the other people, the partners on the race car, because you've had some really good ones. I know for a fact that the folks at Raptor Filters post every time that you do
Yeah.
something. Anytime it's a poll, it's a picture, video, anything. I believe it's Eduardo is his name. He
Yep.
posts every single time. He absolutely loves it. So this is your moment to shout out those people.
No, I mean, start off obviously Eduardo and the whole Raptor Filters gang, all my amigos down there in Mexico.
Yeah, that's right,
He
buddy.
always he always messages me after we got the pole or a win this year. And Corey McAllister and his whole family. Deep down from my heart, from me and my family, it meant a lot to us this year. And CM Precision, Caldecott Millwrights, ImageWraps.ca. Craig, actually, you know what? Corey came up with the idea of maybe, doing one of Dad's throwback schemes. And I was thinking about it, but Corey called me one Sunday morning. He was having a coffee and I was upstairs doing something. And he kind of put that bug in my ear. And I'm like, hell, I'm actually very glad you asked to do that because it was quite a emotional thing, but it was awesome to carry Dad's colors.
Yeah.
Elevated workplace safety, Northern Home Foot Care. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I think I hit everybody, but it's yeah, it's just been amazing, man. And my family, my mom, my sister, Polly, my girlfriend Danielle, they were all there for when times were tough,
Yeah.
and it's heck. I'd come home after a win, and I'd still wake up Sunday morning and question whether I'm still doing the right thing. Cam, it was tough as hell, but I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. But it's all those people that really kept me going, and I'm forever grateful. And like I said, if I can get back in a race car, it'll be with them because they've now become. It's almost like a family operation. It ain't racing for nobody. I'm forever grateful for Corey and Jenny and Kane and Ainsley, everybody, man, and the McAllister family. It's awesome.
I'm just gonna say you've got history still to chase. You haven't beat every record yet, so you've got
Yeah,
to. Sean's out there, man, and
yeah,
Sean's trying. He's trying to get past you for wins, and I think that there would be no better way to go out there and get. You got to get four, and then you got to get five, right? You got to beat the records. So, speaking on behalf of the fans, I definitely want to say congratulations. Thank you so much, obviously, for coming back and racing this year. And you know what? On the SNS side, we're really excited because we're going to have our first ever Robert James Memorial Sportsmanship Award this year,
yeah,
which will have your dad's picture on it. We're
yeah,
really excited to present that. And you know what, bud? Have the best off season. I hope we see you in something for ACC. I know OSS is not racing there, so I'm hoping maybe a
yep.
legend or something, maybe a pro late. I'm just Corey,
You're
just
probably gonna. Well, you're
yeah,
probably gonna.
okay,
You'll see
okay.
something soon.
All
Yeah.
right. So that sounds awesome, Connor. Enjoy the next couple weeks, and we'll see you at Autumn Colors then.
Thanks a lot, Cam. I appreciate it, bud.
That is Connor James, your 2025 Ontario Sportsman Series champion and one of the good guys in motorsports. We're going to bring on one of the good gals in motorsports, and we're a little bit delayed, but wanted to get all that in there. And we're going to talk with the 2025, finally, the 2025, we can say it's official now, 2025 champion in the mini truck division out at Full Throttle Motor Speedway, Quesa Zimick. You did it! You got the championship.
I know, it's amazing.
You had
Still
talked
can't believe it.
we had talked at the start of this season. This is something that you've been wanting since you were in this division. You've been the longest tenure driver in it. It was a little weird. You had a couple races this year where it was you and another two trucks. You had races then where it was you and six other trucks.
Yeah.
So where do you feel the division is headed for 26? It looks in a better position now than it did at the start of the season. What are you thinking? What's your thinking?
Yeah, I definitely think like I've been hearing like a lot of rumors and stuff that a lot of people are getting into trucks for next year, like a lot of different rookies and stuff showing a lot of different interest. A lot of trucks kind of like selling, kind of changing every ownership and stuff. So hopefully it sounds like there'll be a really good field next year. Hopefully you continue to have like Grand Bend Speedway and Full Throttle Motor Speedway working together so that both can
Yes.
have an equal amount of truck count as well, because I feel like that's definitely key to like keeping up the division and kind of sharing the love a little bit in between there too. So hopefully a bigger field for next year and more consistent too would be super exciting.
I know they were Howden and Kate Friel were talking about this on the Grand Bend broadcast that potentially there might be a combined points effort. That's something they were throwing out there as a working together relationship. Um, do you see something like that working? I mean, would you be opposed to having a championship that, maybe for each track, but also a combined title between the two of you guys?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I know in the past, like in junior late models, we've had a specific championship and points fund towards like a traveling series. Like when I one of my championships in 2021, one of them was the traveling series as well. Yeah. So I definitely think it's a good idea. And two, like even if we brought it in, to more tracks, like kind of got Sawbo included. Maybe obviously Sunset's closing, but Peterborough, something. We did Shwegan one year. We did a little dirt track, which was kind of be fun to do again. But kind of doing, broadening tracks, kind of getting the word about the divisions, and like I think too, like makes you a better driver trying different tracks as well. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing with the full throttle. What we've seen, it was a bit of an exhibition event for the street stocks. That was phenomenal. Speaking from experience, being at Sunset for those two races, I went specifically to see those two in the OSS finale, and I was blown away with how just fun. They brought back a lot of that, and the mini trucks are essentially a souped up version of the junior late models, if I'm not mistaken. They're basically just the next faster version of those. And the tracks that you guys drive on are two completely different. Varney and Grand Bend are two completely different ways that you can drive them. I mean, I looked back at a video that I believe it was McKenna Robson sent me, or maybe it was Ben Freiberger, one of the two, but they were involved in a huge accident or whatever. But anyways, they sent this video and it shows there's like 14 trucks, and you guys can draft. These things are fun. They're fun to watch. You guys can drive them on two different types of track levels.
Yeah.
If you were going to pick a third track, would Sawbo be the one that you would go towards, or would you try like a Peterborough, a Flamborough, somewhere else like that?
I've personally never raced the trucks at Sawbo. I've only done the junior late models, which was super fun. There was one race of this mini trucks was on a Wednesday, so it didn't necessarily work well with the traveling for us. So it would be fun to try that. I do love taking the trucks. Like we are always at Freshtoberfest for Flamborough, and I think that's super fun. It's something too, like at least from like my friends in like my area, it's not too bad of a drive either. So it's a little bit worth it if you're gonna travel around. At least it's like an hour and a half from us, so it's not too bad.
I think
like 2 hours for like
relative kind of closeness is probably the best thing that you guys do need, because I mean, I want to be able to see guys like Edwin Hyde, Colin Klumper. I want to see those kids join with you guys and join and race, because they're not going to learn from, two trucks, three trucks, four trucks. They have to have the big fields. You've got the Gortzes that dominated out at Grand Bend this year. You have the Sims, who weren't out as much at the start of the season.
No.
They showed up later. The Busink, I'm going to mess up. Is it
Businks?
Businks, they were out there as well. Mason, who's going to come up next, he was also joined in for some of those races. Nick Thoss was out there at Grand Bend. So you have a really good field,
Hmm.
but they're separate. So if we
Yeah.
bring everybody together, you could have a field of 15 trucks.
Hmm.
You seem to do really well at Varney. Struggled a little bit more at Grand Bend. What's the difference for you?
I think too, I love Barney. I think Barney is super fun. I think a little bit of like I've been at Grand Bend for 12 years now, so I think
Okay.
I've kind of like worn out the fun for me a little bit. It's still fun. Like I like popping in and out. I think that makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me. And then two, I feel like I just fit in with like the group at like Varney and stuff. I have a really good group there, but makes it more fun. And I like living a little bit more on the edge. It's still fun to pop up at Grand Bend once in a while for sure. But I just feel like I seem to be more my sweet spot there compared to Grand Bend. But lots of good memories at Grand Bend, though, regardless. Like, I wouldn't be as good of a driver if I hadn't spent my time at Grand Bend as well.
You set a pretty good track record this year with 10 feature wins
Thank you.
in the mini trucks this year, including the 40 lap finale. Battled it out all year with Ethan Mallon, the
Yeah.
I can always mess it up. Businks,
Yeah.
the Sims
Mhm.
when they got out there. Who is somebody between the two tracks? We'll start with Varney and then we'll go to Grand Bend. You obviously you're a veteran in this division now, so who are some names that you think we should be watching for in the next year or so? Because I mean, there's young kids in both of
Yeah.
those tracks. So what do you have to say about who we could potentially be looking at for the future of the mini truck division?
Yeah, of course. Definitely the Busick brothers. Like they are really great drivers. They work well together, and I feel like they've learned so much in the season. Two, I know like Grayson Mason's been planning on moving up. Like he's picked up like so much experience, like between the sprints and the junior late models. Like it's gonna be so cool to see what he does in the mini trucks this year. Definitely too, like Nick Thus has grown so much in the last 2 years. Of course, too, Colin Klumper with his first year out, he's killing it. He's such a great kid too. He's so awesome and like so interested. So it's super cool. And to see him be so invested in trying learning from all of us too when we get together. So I'm really excited to see what he can do too.
Keisha, you've been a Ladies of the Oval representative, obviously, and this is huge because right as of right now, I believe you are the only female champion in Ontario for this year. This last year, obviously, Jillian Hills was able to do it. We
Yeah.
just saw on Ladies of the Oval's Facebook page that Sarah Thorne is the first ever
Oh,
NASCAR champion,
which is
so
amazing.
which is
So cool.
fantastic.
Mhm.
When are we gonna see more ladies in the mini trucks? We gotta throw that out there as
I
who should
know.
we send in there? Should it be Emma Vale? Should we see Peyton Hamilton?
Yeah.
Who should be the next mini truck lady to join you?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I'm trying to think of a couple, to be honest. I do know, at least I've heard that there's possibly a lady moving into the mini trucks for next year. So that would be exciting. But other than that, ooh, I'm trying to think because I feel like they're so minimal that I get around. Like most of them I can think of are the ones in junior sprint. So I think they got like a few more years to kind of grow up into it. Um, yeah, unless other girls like kind of switch divisions, like if Andrea Clark like switched over or something.
Oh, Andrea, I like that idea. That would be kind of fun. Um, Keisha, congratulations on the championship. How many is this for you right now?
This will be my third championship in my third
Number
junior.
three.
Mm-hmm.
Number three. You know what sounds better than three? Four.
Exactly, right?
Keisha, best of luck this off season. Thank you so much. You guys will be out at Flamborough, or will you be of missing Frostfest this year?
So my mini truck will be at Flamborough. I have prior commitments, so my boyfriend actually will be driving it. He used to race junior late models with me, so we met 13 years together. It's a cute little race car love story over there. But so he'll be racing it for me at Flamborough. So best of luck. If not, it is the last race of the season. So no matter how it goes, it'll be okay.
Keisha Zimick, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on your 2025 championship.
Yes, thank you so much, Cam.
That is Keisha Zimick. Hopefully she'll go for a number 4 next year in the mini truck division, and we'll bring on a former competitor actually of the mini truck division, and that is your 2025 back-to-back champion. Now, repping the right type of shirt for this show, he knows how to suck up in the right ways. Attaboy Mason Culver, who takes home the Thunder Truck division for the second year in a row. I want to say this was kind of going to be a foregone conclusion because you kind of dominated this year. I think you were beat once or twice this whole season, Mason.
Yeah, it was a few more times. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but yeah, we were very grateful and lucky to have a whole bunch of success. We our first weekend of the year was not very successful. I didn't know if we were gonna be really racing full time or what I was gonna do. I wasn't too set, but we went out and had a transmission break and power steering pump break and ended up with some not so good finishes to the first weekend of the year. And since then, just kind of went on a roll and wasn't able to win the last race so this weekend. So huge congratulations to Dave Dipple and Luke finishing 1-2, his father and son. That's awesome to see, and I'm pumped for them. As much as I would have liked to stop that from happening, I wasn't able to do it.
I did see a lot of trucks that are from the Renegade division that are for sale. Do we know if this division is going to be returning next year, or is it just a mass exodus, or just people trying to get better trucks for next year?
So yeah, as far as I know, the division's back next year. Like everyone I talk to in it is all pumped up. I think there's some guys with their trucks for sales for different reasons. You'd have to ask them on why, but it's a great class, and I have my truck sold now to a
Oh,
great.
you did sell it.
Yeah,
Oh, so is there a new face coming into the Thunder trucks? Can you at least say that?
yeah. There's a
Okay.
dude coming into the Thunder trucks. They won a championship in their class this year. But I'll let them do the announcement that they're moving up. So
It's great to hear. The Thunder trucks are a blast. We'll put it out there. They're a lot of fun to drive, but you are going to be making a big change for 2026. You had posted previously that you have picked up a new ride for 2026. Are you planning to get out there for playoff time? Are you planning to take any sort of testing before 2026 starts? Or are you going to just wait till 2026 to get things moving in that direction? And if you want, you can share where you're going.
yeah, no, yeah, I got a super stock from Lonnie Thompson. So super pumped up about that. I actually just got back like 15 minutes ago from Delaware, so I'm a little dirty, but I figured I'd change my shirt, and this one was there, so I thought why not. But no, we've been out testing a lot and spending a lot of time working on that car. Probably, probably should have spent a little more time on my truck as well, but didn't do that. But no, we're going to be racing super stocks full time at Delaware Speedway next year, and we're going to start it off this weekend, Friday, in the Daco 50 lapper will be our debut at Delaware and in the super stocks.
Awesome stuff. The decision to go super stock, was it Delaware? Was it the Culver legacy? Was it you always want to try that division? Was there a specific reason why you wanted to go super stock?
So I guess like ever since I was a kid, kind of the reason I'm into oval track racing is because of my cousin Trevor Culver, who I think, well, I think he speaks for himself that he's the king of the super stocks. So
Yes.
I think he's the best around. Well, I know he is, but no. So it's kind of easy decision. I've always wanted to race it. I didn't know if I was going to be racing it yet. I kind of wanted to try maybe another division beforehand, but found a deal that was too good to pass up and thought, why not? So it's nice. Delaware is only 15 minutes from home. I love Varney, and I'm still going to be going up there. I help a lot of mini trucks and other competitors, but it'll be nice to race 15 minutes from home, close to all my partners, instead of 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, and I would imagine the first test, you just had a big ass grin on your face, or how did that feel?
Yeah, it was a blast. Like I said, I've been telling people I probably had more fun practicing in that car than I had in my other classes. I love the mini trucks and thunder trucks, but super stocks at Delaware is a whole different animal, and I'm just grateful to have such a good teacher.
You definitely do, and so we know you as the number 20 truck and the number 20 mini truck. So is the number 20 going to stay with you as you move into the super stock?
Yeah.
You're going to stick with the same look and everything, which is great to hear. Full time. Are you going to do any sort of traveling next year, or are you going to stick only to Delaware?
I haven't decided on that, but I mean, I'm sure I will be doing some traveling. I like going to different tracks, and if there's a track racing and I'm not doing anything, I'm the type of guy who normally likes to go race. So we might we'll see how this weekend goes, but I kind of would like to try Flamborough as well this year.
This is what I was hoping you would say, because we know that Steel City Thunder they're not the Thunder Stocks, Super Stocks. They're really trying to get on the card again, spearheaded by Justin Collison. They want that division back next year, and adding Mason Culver would be a huge thing. And obviously getting to experience the two different tracks. Trevor's a little busy at home. He's got a couple kids now that he's got to take care of, the race car and his actual kids. So we know we'll see him out there. I don't know if we lost Mason or not. He's frozen up here on screen. So, there we go. We got him back. Seems to happen quite routinely, but yeah, you said kind of what you needed. You got what you needed out of this. This year, the Thunder Truck division has proved capable for you. You've been there for the last couple of years, been very, very successful. This is going to be different for you. This is not going to go in with a potential championship run right off the start. This is a very difficult division to get a handle on, and we did get confirmation that we are going to see Ryan Dyson back in this division next year as well today. So at least one of your competitors that's going to be out there. What's the goal? I know obviously you'd want to go out there and win the championship right away, but let's just say realistic first couple week goals for you when you get started next year.
I haven't really thought that far ahead, to be honest, but really I'm just excited to learn a lot and live up to a new challenge, hopefully, and yeah, just chase everyone around and see what we can do at Delaware.
When you finally beat Trevor on track, will there be some good lip service from you?
No. Well, if and when that happens, I'm sure I'll just be saying thanks for helping me do it.
Well, we're really excited to look forward to seeing you out at the racetrack next year on Delaware. Rogers TV is there weekly, so we get to see Mason Culver hopefully on Rogers every week, and hopefully picking up some big wins in his number 20 Super Stock. You got a lot of people that have made this possible for you, championship after championship. So, who would you like to thank for this year?
Well, that's a long list, but
do your best, bud.
This year, like, I wouldn't be able to do it without my dad. He's the one who got me into it. He helps me all the time in the shop. He's always there at the track with me. Of course, my mom, my brothers for all their support. My stepmom, Ann, she puts all the stickers on the car and makes it look good. Of course, Trevor Culver. Without him, I have no idea where I'd be. He's the best teacher around, and he's just a great guy. I look up to him in more ways than one, outside of the car and real life as well. So just those guys. My friend Connor, TJ, they work on the car a lot. Jeff Sim, he spotted for me all season up at Full Throttle. I got to thank the Full Throttle facility and staff and fans for giving us a place to race all year. It's such a fun atmosphere. I got to thank all my partners: Don Culver Automotive, Grace Transport, Synergy Composites, JCT Metals, AJ DeBruin Snap-on Tools, Karis Welding, Brander Steel, C Parachuting and Plumbing Inc., Dave Culver Auto Care, the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. And I'll just also want to thank a lot of the people who've been helping me out on the Super Stock as well. Again, my dad, Trevor, as usual. Rick Gertz, Caleb Gertz, who does awesome in the mini trucks. They've been out helping me practice at the track. Daryl, my Aunt Sue, who else? Jeremy Noon, a whole bunch of people. I'm so grateful. I have such an awesome group of partners and people who help me out at the track. And I'm a super grateful and lucky guy to be where I am.
Well, we're really excited that you're going to go out and have some more fun next year. You see two Culvers out on the racetrack at Delaware Speedway. That's going to be lots of fun. And you know what? The best of luck, and we're really excited to see you race this weekend, bud. So you know what? Go out there and hopefully it'll go well for you. You know, we don't want to have no bad luck to start your super stock career, and you know what? Hopefully you'll just have some fun and come home with a good finish.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's going to be a challenge. Looks like lots of cars too, and lots of great drivers are going to be in the field. So I'm super stoked. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to race with Trevor Friday, but my good friend Connor Pritico is getting in the
Yep.
car. Good buddies with Carson.
J.R. Fitzpatrick too.
Yeah, Joe Lawrence, lots of
Yeah.
big. So hey, I said hopefully we can keep her out of trouble and stay on the lead lap and bring it home in one piece for next year.
I got a comment from Sean Veenstra, who says, Mason Culver is the definition of the true definition of a champion. Stand-up guy takes time to see and congratulate everyone, help everyone. Just a great fella, and I can attest to that. You've got some really good kids that you've helped, including Edwin Hyde getting back-to-back championships at Grand Bend Speedway, and getting into the mini truck this year. Man, those mini truck guys were really good this year. You weren't really in the competition, were you? When you got out there for a couple races.
No, yeah, everyone's doing awesome there. When I get the opportunity to hop in someone's mini truck, I'm always the first to say yeah. But no, we had some success. Couple mini truck starts. We won one feature this year in the mini trucks, and got in a couple other trucks and helped them make them a little quicker. And I just like working on them and helping everyone out. And we're also going to be in a mini truck at Flamrose, so looking forward to that as well.
Awesome stuff to hear. You heard it here, folks, on ONTrack Weekly. Mason Culver, your 2025 Thunder Truck champion at Full Throttle Motor Speedway going Superstock Racing as of this week. Congratulations, bud. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Cam.
That is our good buddy Mason Culver, who comes off a championship, and we go straight into another champion who, we had to pivot his plans a little bit this year. I don't think he was initially going to compete for a championship, but it ended up that that's what happened. And oh, look at this, back-to-back T-shirts. Love it. You and Mason on fire with these T-shirt choices. But Carter Nickel joins me. He is officially the 9 horsepower sprint champion out at Grand Bend Speedway. Carter, I was just saying at the start of the season, I don't think we thought you were going to be competing for a championship. And lo and behold, you're the champion. How did that happen?
Well, at the beginning of the season, it was pretty rough. Like, well, first 2 weeks we were looking good, and then I think it was the third or fourth week, just really, really bad accident. We were just having terrible luck throughout the year, and we just couldn't get off this bad streak of races. But we were able to kind of push through, and we had a little bit of luck on our side, and lo and behold, we were able to just barely clinch it.
I mean, it came down to this last couple of races, and frankly, if Keegan Lamont had started his hot streak a little bit earlier, that might have been a conversation where you'd been battling Keegan for this championship. Mike Beneteau obviously is the guy who helped bring you into this, and you had mentioned in the Stickers and Scuffs interview your admiration and respect for Mike Beneteau. How was it driving for the man that you cherished so much and competing and winning a championship for him?
It was incredible. I remember walking into the shop for the first time, and I got to meet, well, obviously I knew Mike, but I got to meet all the guys on the pit crew that I had seen. I had never really known them, but it was just, I walked in there and it was like family. I fit in so well, and to be able to go out and win races and then win a championship for him, and like him running out to me and giving me a hug, it was incredible. I don't think I'll ever forget that, and it'll probably be a core memory for life.
I mean, it looked like when you got out there, you were pretty excited. Obviously, it was. I'm going to commend you for throwing on the SNS hat right away. It made me shed a tear a little bit because I was never going to expect. I wasn't going to expect that at all. But I will say that, the wreck that you had this year, people need to put in perspective here. This was not a small wreck. Okay, this was an injury that came from a wreck because you hit so damn hard. Was it concussion that you ended up having earlier this year, or was there just really severe soreness? Or, but it was something pretty severe. Can we go through kind of that accident?
Yeah. I ended up having a not sure if it was a mild concussion, but I had
We'll get him back,
and then a
folks.
week later.
Yep. Sorry, we lost you for a little bit, Carter.
Oh, did you hear anything?
Nope, it cut out as soon as you started talking. So, um, let's start from the beginning. So, what exactly happened at the start?
Yeah, it was so I ended up getting a concussion from it. And at that time I was doing my co-op at McCall Racing and I was still in school. So half the day at school wasn't able to really do much. I'd go to co-op, couldn't really do much, just kind of sitting there sweeping floors. And I think it was like a week or two after that, got into another big wreck in practice. Car spun in front of me and I went to avoid and it was just too late and I hit him. I broke my toe doing that. So we were just having bad luck after bad luck. Thankfully, the concussion wasn't as bad as we thought, and just a week later, I was out racing the bone stock at Delaware. But I remember getting in the car, my head was like pounding, and I look at my dad, I'm like, my head really hurts.
Hmm.
He goes, "Are you sure you should be racing?" I'm like, "It'll be fine." So I'm just really glad that I was all right from that and able to go out and do as well as we did.
I mean, it takes a lot to come back from an injury, but you also were dealing with a lot on the other side of the spectrum here. On the bone stock side, you guys had a great start to the season, making the race the first feature in a photo finish with Hank Clausen, but then it just went topsy turvy and then off a cliff. Um, just for those that don't do two different divisions at one time, I want to know what it's like mentally to go through the extreme highs of battling for a championship and then on the bone stock side having all this disappointment. I mean, eventually you guys decided we're focusing on the 9 horsepower sprint car, and ultimately that seemed to work out in the end for you. But where's the bone stock program heading for you? Are you guys going to try and go back, or are you going to focus mainly on doing 9 horsepower sprints again?
Well, we'll do the announcement right here. Then for those that aren't watching, we'll do an announcement later tonight. The bone stock has been sold, and
Okay.
we ended up and went and bought a 9 horse chassis. So we racing in the 9 horse next year as well. But as for the future of the bone stocks, with me, I'd like to hop in one later, but that'll have to be years down the road.
Okay. Reason being?
It's just for us, it was getting a little too costly. I know
Mm-hmm.
racing as a sport is expensive, but it just got to the point where it was like two blown motors, constantly wrecking stuff on it. Nothing was working. We just can't afford it at this point. So
Yep.
we're just gonna race that. And with the sprint cars, they're not as costly. They're easier to work on. We can make our own parts. And then I'm gonna go off to college and stuff, and hopefully get my mechanics license. And once I get a job and more stable, right,
Yeah.
then we'll look into something a bit bigger.
Well, I will tell you, I hate to say this, and I do it out of respect, but I was very ignorant to Grand Ben's racing. And what I really believe, and I know people might disagree on this side, that streaming hurts people attending, but I will say, for those that can't make it, it is a long distance for me to go down to Grand Bend. It's like 4 hours, and that's just not doable. If we don't drive, it's virtually impossible to do it. So to be able to get to see you guys race there, that 9 horsepower sprint class, if you guys had 15 of those, I almost think it would be too dangerous for you guys to do races like that. I think you guys have the perfect amount. I think it's like 6 to 7 on a weekly basis. The racing was phenomenal. Back and forth, side to side. I'm not a sprint guy. I don't like open wheel stuff because it makes me nervous. Especially when you guys crash, that really makes me nervous. Um, but phenomenal back and forth racing and strategic almost in a way. Like Carter, I would expect you kind of have to plan while you're driving these cars because you have to be able to set up a move to make the pass at the right time, because if you get out there, sometimes that's not enough. You don't, these guys can draft right up and and pass you. I've seen it the last couple of weeks with Gareth and Keegan Lamont. There was fantastic racing there. I imagine behind the wheel, it is so fun.
Oh yeah, those things are a blast to drive. And there's a little bit of a funny story with the strategy. It
Mm-hmm.
was, I think, halfway through the season, and my teammate Ray, he's leading, and I'm right behind him. And I think it was either for a heat win or it was like second or third in the feature. My car wasn't handling good all night, and then at the end, it kind of came to life, and he wasn't doing so hot. And I'm just drafting and like, getting right up to him, and it's final lap, and I go into turn one, and I dive underneath and take the lead, and then going into turn three, he passes me like I'm standing still, and I get out of the car, and I'm like, what the heck? And I walk over to him, and he just goes, "Too soon, Junior." So yeah, there's a lot of strategy in those cars. You got to really, really plan when you're going to make your moves, because you take a certain line, you might scrub all your speed off, and they'll take you by. And it's just crazy how much these cars, the strategy wise, goes into them. I never realized how much, because with the bone stock, when I was out there, it's kind of like you hit the other guy and move him out of the way, and you drive away, right? The bump
Exactly.
and run, where you can't do this in these. You have to plan like 2 laps ahead. So
I
it took
mean,
a long time to get used to it.
I encourage people to go back and watch the live streams because again, there's some divisions there that at Grand Bend that I don't feel that put on the best racing, but the sprints, yeah, I'm sorry, those you guys and the junior sprints put on fantastic racing. It was phenomenal. I think Legends fit on that track very well. Can-Am Midgets, Outlaw Midgets. It is a small track, right? So those types of cars definitely fit. It's really awesome that you got to go out and win a championship when we didn't know what was going to happen this year, especially with all the bad luck. And Carter, I wanted to have you on this show as soon as you officially won the championship. And I'm really excited that you were able to do so. And I want to thank you for coming on. This is your opportunity now, as you know, with what we do on SNS and on this show. Thank the partners and thank the people that made this possible for you to take home the championship in 2025.
Oh, I'm gonna have like a Trevor Culver style sponsor free
Oh,
now.
I
So I
expect
want
it.
to thank Ethan, Fox, Mike, Mitch, and Austin, all my pit crew members. Want to thank McCully Electric, Robin Tiller, Driven to Save Lives, James Walsh, Victory Fuel, Elite Energy, Adam Smith Plumbing, Mrs. Nichols Pickles, Bogline Barbecue, Stickers and Scuffs, Robinson Farm Drainage, McCall Racing, BC Racing, Mike and Sue Beneteau, Campfire Ninja, Arcona Speedway, Dirty Girls Lawn Care, and Earl S. Ross Incorporated.
Pretty good stuff that you were able to get out there and get it done, my man. I'm excited for 2026 for you. I can't wait to see you back out there, and hopefully you can repeat. How we get another one? That wouldn't be too bad, right?
No, that's the plan. Hopefully we'll beat old man Mike Beneteau again.
Oh, the fighting words. Mike, I hope you heard that. He called you old, so we'll definitely look forward to that. Carter, thank you so much, buddy, for joining me, and have a great off season. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Cam. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. That is a good buddy, Carter Nickel, uh, from Grand Bend Speedway, man. He's a great kid. He's a really, really good kid, and has had a lot of success this year. And we're gonna bring in somebody else who's coming off of a ton of success this year, coming off of another championship. And Jake Sheridan joins me now, champion once again in the late model division out at Delaware Speedway. Well, Jake, you had a pretty good season, not just for yourself, but Nick had a great season and Kendra had a great season. Everything was going very, very well for you guys this year. 2025 was definitely the year of Sheridan, wasn't it?
Yeah, went solid. Not due to a lack of effort, that's for sure. But obviously, a lot of racing for us. Even just in Ontario, traveling back and forth, and even out to the East Coast, and Delaware Weekly and APC. There's a lot going on. So definitely a lot of people behind the scenes to make it possible. But definitely a great effort, and bring home a couple of wins is great.
I mean, I remember us talking when you were on our podcast too a while ago, and you had mentioned that, hey, we need partners to make this happen, and you weren't sure how much longer you were going to go, and you're battling now for APC wins regularly. You went down to Owasso, ran really well there too. You got the big 300 lapper coming up at Delaware Speedway, and obviously winning the championship at Delaware. it's been a fantastic year for you, and it seems like you guys did eventually just hit gold and were winning almost. It seemed like every week you guys were pulling off a victory. It's is it the turnaround just from the team, or getting those partners just really helped you guys out?
Yeah, been a couple of huge things. Obviously, financial partners are a huge part of racing, unfortunately. And it's not unfortunate, but if you want to race a pro late model, you got to have some financial help. So, obviously, there's a lot of work goes in there, but it's a major combination of, I think, just really good equipment. Obviously, the partnership with McCall Racing this year has been huge, and it's been huge for my career, and we partnered in a great way that I think it's the best of both worlds, and it's paid off well for us. But financially, obviously, since we had that conversation, I think this year the very obvious, Raptor filters have been a huge support of ours, and they come on in a big way the last, this whole year. So the whole trip out east was thanks to them, and what a great experience for me. So really appreciate that. Really appreciate all the work, and obviously the whole Two Speed family, and Corey is a great ambassador for the sport. So really can't appreciate them. Can't say enough about them, and McCall's Racing's put us in some great equipment all year long. So it pays dividends to, shows a lot about all their characters and all their talents, and I'm just lucky guy that gets to be involved with it all.
Definitely put on a show this year. APC as a whole always puts on a great show. You guys have a really big event coming up to end your season, 300 laps at Delaware Speedway. You have obviously been the best of the best at the track this year, winning the championship weekly. Can you go and take the 300 lapper at Delaware this weekend?
Well, I'd love to hope so. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that goes into something like that. There's a 300 lap race. It's a lot can happen. So we seen last year we tried to get off on the pit strategy, and we ended up getting our nuts cracked back in the back of the field. So um, it's a lot of things can happen there. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be dominant. Honestly, you gotta be in the top 10, top half of the field for sure, and with a good piece and track position. It seemed to really matter there last year in that race. So it's a different race for us for sure. Obviously, extended periods, and there's some really great cars that are going to be there for that race, and some great talent. So all the stars got to line up for that race perfectly, and I hope that we can just keep ourselves in the top five, and the cards will fall where they may. But obviously, if we can put ourselves in position, we got the best chance.
You've obviously been out there all season long. You are 10 points from the lead. I don't know mathematically if that puts you still in contention. Should put you in still in a pretty good position. Kyle and Josh obviously still ahead of you by a couple of points, but going to this weekend, what do you feel about long distance races like this? Fan of them? Would you like to see more, less? What does Jake Sheridan prefer?
Yeah, I love them. I think a race like Sunset, I feel like is right up our alley. When we won the 150 lap race there, we wore at place tires, play a huge factor. They really wear
Yeah.
out there, and the pace falls off. We were over, a second fall off in a 150 lap race from the beginning. So 4 tires in a extended period of race. I love that kind of racing, and I think we managed our stuff really well there. So obviously we get to put a couple of tires on this race, and I think it's gonna be exciting, gonna be interesting. Like I say, track position seems to be it's a 300 lap race, and we still seem to struggle with passing cars there sometimes. So I think we can keep ourselves in position and time the strategy well. I think it's going to help you. But I'm a huge fan of them. I really like the extended races, and obviously there's times to be aggressive, and a lot of times when you got to be aggressive is at the end of a run when there's not a lot of tire left, and you got to just get up on the wheel. So that's kind of my favorite kind of racing as there is, which is what the Outlaw late model is a lot about, is just being up on the wheel and having big balls. So that's I really like that kind of style of racing, and it's cool. So really looking forward to it. Probably like the biggest race of my career, really. Just if you give the given circumstance of where we're at, and how we've done this year, I would say this is probably one of the biggest races in my career, and I like to think it's one of mine to lose. So we'll do the best we can, and hopefully put a good show on for all our partners.
You went out to Owasso Speedway, had yourself a really good run. Something we could potentially see you do in the off season. Maybe we could see you run down for the Snowball Derby at some point. Do you have any big plans to go and run down south?
Nothing really for the winter planned yet. The Outlaw late model, they don't really go too far down south, but they do run Michigan a bit, and they had a rain out earlier in the year. They're going to have it on October 4th at Owasso, so we hope to be there again the week
Nice.
after 300 and bring the Outlaw down again. So, but have a lot of fun with that. Haven't got out as much as we wanted to, but man, what a cool series, cool car, and and it's something different for me to learn. It's there's the pro weight stuff's been a little bit stagnant for me personally in the last couple of years, so really fun to kind of spread our wings a little bit and try something new again. So really looking forward to being out there. Definitely had a great run. Showed a great debut. Honestly, the car was really good, and I think we did our job and raced everybody as clean as we could, and I think everyone was happy to have us. I think we put a good show on for Canadians as a whole. So look forward to doing that again, and definitely do as much as we can. The off season stuff is just it's just getting so expensive anymore, and we're just maybe not in the best shape right now. At the end of the season, we did good to do accomplish what we could have all year, and we did it successfully, but we didn't really budget for too much stuff in the U.S. after the end of the season. So we'll do as much as we can, and if something comes up, we'll definitely be there.
I know we obviously have a lot of people that we could say put your investment behind, but Jake, obviously you've done a lot. So I'm going to throw it out there for those that do want to get involved in motorsports. This would be somebody to definitely get behind, especially with all the winning ways that you've had this year. You know what? Plans obviously for 2026 are always going to be up in the air. They're always going to be questions year after year after year. APC championship is the one thing that I think that's missing right now, right? It's one of those things that you'd like to be able to get out and get. But I do want to throw out and wonder what it's like having Kendra out there with you. I mean, she's going out there trying all these tracks as well, and I'm hoping we'll get to see her back out again next year. It's got to be cool that you guys are getting out there and experiencing this together.
Excuse me. Sorry. I know. I really appreciate the words there for sure. It is cool. Um, it, I think you got to be strong in those situations too. It brings in all kinds of situations and all kinds of things for people to say, as we see in the last couple of weeks. And I think it's hilarious personally. So I love it. I think it's fun, and she's doing a great job. You know, it's a huge undertaking to come out in the APC series, and a lot of people. I applaud her for coming out of the weekly stuff and doing this. A lot of people like to run their mouth about how you can do it and how this and that, but it's really really tough. And there's everybody in the ABC series is very very good. So I applaud her for taking on the challenge, and she's doing a great job. She's been patient, and she's done exactly what she's supposed to do. So yeah, it's definitely a cool experience. And yeah, the APC stuff I put myself in a bit of a hole championship wise. It'd be nice to have one, and put myself in a bit of a hole at Sauble with it, but at the same time, we had a parts failure at Delaware that hurt us too. So definitely would be nice to add a championship to the resume. But my heart, I race for wins, and I love race wins. So if we can do something like that, it'd be great. And I think we've done a great job of that this year. And the points will fall where they may always.
Are we ever going to see Jake Sheridan race with brother Nick on the dirt?
Oh, I would love it. It's on my bucket list for sure to do with him.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of stuff figured out recently, man. He's good at that. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a great car driver, and he's smart. So he's smart race car, like race car technology wise. So he does all that himself. And the sprint car program's come a long way since I ran a couple of races way back then. So I would really, really, really love to get out there with him and run some races. And I think that'd be so fun. It's tough for me. On Fridays, just I work out of town a lot, so it's tough to make it to the Friday night shows. I know I did a couple of Delaware this year, but not without paying a price at work. So it's definitely tough for me to get into those. But if they have a couple of weekend invitationals next year and we have some sticking around or a crate motor sticking around, I would love to get into it.
I think many people would love to see that. Jake, thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck this weekend, and hopefully you can take home the big 300. That would be a great way to end the season in APC.
Thanks so much, Cam. Appreciate the words, and I'd love to be there. Looking forward to it.
That is our friend Jake Sheridan going to go for the 300 out at Delaware Speedway. Thank you all to the guests that did show up for tonight's show, that were a part of it. I did have another guest that was scheduled. Unfortunately, he is unable to make it because of work, but we will try to get him on for a future show. I know, obviously, we were trying to get in on time here and finish right at 9:30. I just wanted to put out there that this past weekend was the Last Dance, and Last Dance at Sunset Speedway, which does not mean that the track is done. It means currently that the people that have been running the track are retiring, and there needs to be somebody to take over, but it is their last dance. Not just the owners or the people that have been running it, I wouldn't say owners, but a management group with Brian and Sandra Todish. Thank you to both of them for what they have done. Thank you to the staff. Brendan Doherty has announced that it is his last year at Sunset. Even if they were to return, he would not be And I want to throw a thank you out to Brendan. Brendan is one of the guys who I truly admire. I love his announce style. I think that he shows a ton of appreciation to the partners of the racers. That is something that we really need to do. Racers, I've seen it time and time again. You have those like Trevor Culver who will remember every single partner that he has, right down to the very, very small that goes on a race car. And then you have guys who can't remember, who don't remember, who don't know. If they're kids, yeah, that's going to take time. That takes time. But for those who do it weekly, I want to say that this is something you have to do. Brendan always made sure that he can try and squeeze every single partner into his announcing, which I always appreciate. I think that's, as somebody who's been on race cars, it means so much. His announcing was what hooked me to Sunset Speedway. I used to listen to it on the TrackTune app when we weren't at the racetrack. I'm so appreciative of that entire group. Courtney Wright, Ben Dennis, Mike Brown, all the front gate, the back gate staff, the souvenir group, everybody that works there, the EMS crew, George and the Pace truck, all the officials. There's just so many great people that will not be running that track or not be a part of it, even if it does return. There's always going to be some sort of a turnover. So I want to say thank you to them. Thank you for everybody that put in that effort. The racers that showed up, there was a shit ton of racers that showed up. We lost a lot of control throughout that entire night, especially last night. There was a lot of emotion, negativity, where we do not need that in our sport. I understand frustrations. I understand emotion when things do not go well, but there was a lot of people there that may have never seen racing before. There was people videoing. There was people that were seeing this with families. There's kids there. We need to be putting on the best examples possible. And when we do stuff that isn't professional, it makes us all look idiotic and it makes it look very unattractive. We want to make it a place for everybody to feel welcome. Language in the pits, language of all sorts. There are some people who will always see racing as a negative, but we don't have to help that along. I want to thank those who've continued to grow this sport, who've continued to try and put an effort towards it, who promote it, no matter what class and what level. You know, there's people that are deciding that this is not for them. There's people that are deciding they're going to get out of it. There's people that are fed up. There's people that are putting money into the sport who are so upset with how things are going and how people are treating each other that they don't want to be back. Is that what we really want? I am not going to sit here and lie and say that I am everybody's friend. I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody likes what I do. They don't. But I'm only throwing out what I see and how we as a whole need to grow the hell up if we want this to succeed. Hearing Clinton Jeffrey go off on his show when he's got easily one of the best run facilities in the entire province, does one of the best promotion jobs in the province for motorsports, and he's getting shit from people. It irritates me because people need to remember we all have lives outside of racing. There are people being messaged constantly about people complaining about what happened, people going after each other, people complaining about tech, that it's not strict, that it's too strict, people just out and blatantly saying horrible things. And all it does is take keep people away. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with the bullshit. People need to get on board and follow the rules for conduct, for tech, for just the way you act as a human being. And we're losing sight of that. I understand it's the end of the season and people are pissed. People are tired and they're frustrated. But we've got to do better. If you want it to succeed, you have to do better. You've got people that are trying to get this sport going to try and revive it. And it seems like we get more and more people that are just trying to bury it. I understand there's going to be conflicts. There's always going to be conflicts. It's how we're dealing with those. We need to drop it. Move on. You know, if this isn't the right place, it's not the right place. Go to a different track. Go to a different facility. Go to a different series if it doesn't work for you. But just the constant negativity makes me not want to promote it. I don't want to be like this at the end of the weekend. I don't want to be stressed out because I'm getting two sides of a story and both people are sending me the message thinking, I don't know why they're sending it to me first off. I can't fix a lot of these issues, but as somebody who spends countless hours promoting it, I don't want to promote it when I'm constantly seeing negativity about everything. People putting up good money, people spending hours of their time putting these events on, and it's never good enough. It's never good enough. Then we go out and we act like a bunch of idiots and expect that it's just going to survive. That sponsors are just going to fly in and spend their hard-earned cash on a bunch of people who all they do is complain when they do get opportunities. This weekend was a chance to bring everybody together for positivity. And what happened at the end of that night yesterday was no one was talking about how awesome of a weekend it was. It was everybody talking about all the negative. That's what we need to stop. The weekend was awesome. There was great racing. There was awesome crowds for that weekend at Sunset. But if we want to continue racing in this province and in this country, we cannot have the way that people are acting. We can't have the way that people act on social media. Sean Chenoweth said it right. He's starting to find less and less reasons for social media to be used for good. He's absolutely right. It's like less and less he's finding that there's positives from social media. And you know what? I don't disagree with him. Spend hours of my day promoting motorsports and promoting people that are affiliated with our program, and then people do stuff and it makes you go, why am I doing this? Why am I putting in this effort? I know others feel that way. You say and you get passionate about something, then it's you're too emotional, or you're woke, or you're this, or you're that, because of your beliefs, because of your passion. No, there's sympathies, there's empathy with each other, but there's also respect. And we're losing a lot of that. And it's not just a racing thing, it's more of a societal thing. But if you have a problem, talk to that person, try to figure it out. If you can't, admit it's not going to work. But the reality is, if we don't get this curbed, if we don't get it fixed, you're going to see less and less people showing up because they want to go to enjoy a car race. They don't want to deal with the bullshit, and the people involved don't want to hear it back to back to back. I can't post updates, which is what I like to do. I like to post what's going on at the track without people then bickering on my profile about what happened. Do that on your own time somewhere else. Leave everybody else that's trying to put an effort in leave us alone, frankly. If you wanted to stick around, then maybe treat those people with respect. Maybe listen to what they have to say. Not everybody is out to get you. Not everybody is out for themselves. There are good people in this world. Okay? We have some great, great people, and I really want racing to survive, and I'm sick of seeing people be so negative about everything. It's exhausting. So, Clinton Jeffrey, I'm with you. I don't want to see people act this way, and if you keep acting this way, then don't be there. You know, you don't have to be, and people have to remember, racing is not a right, is a privilege. Tracks, series, you can kick people out. You have every right to enhance and enforce penalties. I hate to say you have to act like a school principal, but you do. We've got great people here in this province for racing. We've got great racers. We've got great series, great divisions. We've got great people. Make sure that we don't have another sunset situation. We don't know if it's closing, but it sure as hell doesn't get helped when we have situations like yesterday, especially if there was an investor or somebody that was thinking about getting involved, and how that looks. Oh, you just got to shake your head. Next generation of kids, next generations of racers, seeing how people are treating each other, and then they act that same way, and we wonder what happened. That's why. It's disappointing. We can do better. The racing was phenomenal. The people were great. Actions, not so much. We can do better. I want to see you guys back here next week. We've got some championships being wrapped up at Full Throttle Motor Speedway. They've got a couple of championships. Flamborough Speedway will also be wrapping up their championship season. Then we are heading straight into Frostfest or Frostoverfest. I've heard two different things being used, but we're going to be there for Frostfest. I'm going to start building a entry list. Hopefully, I'll work with Kevin Small and see if we can get that working, because I want to try and build the hype as much as possible. And then, of course, Autumn Colors Classic, Corn Cob Classic at Grand Bend, and then Wreckfest up at Full Throttle Motor Speedway to end the season. I think Delaware has the Pumpkin Smasher in there as well, in their championship as well. So have yourselves a great week, everybody. Cam K out. Thank you so much for tuning in here on G4 TV.